Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Well, Deloitte's annual Best Managed Companies Awards programme is now accepting applications, and with Friday's deadline looming, Ronan Murray, the corporate finance partner with Deloitte, joins me now to tell us more. Ronan, before we discuss the Best Managed Companies Awards programme, tell us about Deloitte and its presence here in Ireland.
Thanks, Karl. Great to be with you. In Ireland, we have a very large practice serving numerous industries, and we cover, in terms of our services, we have audit, tax, advisory, consulting, and our own financial advisory, where I lead the team in corporate finance in Munster.
So provide us with an introduction into your Best Managed Companies Awards programme.
So the programme itself is widely known, and it's in association with Bank of Ireland, where it promotes and recognises what we feel is excellence in both Irish and Northern Irish owned and managed companies. So it's an all-island programme. I guess from our own perspective, we see it as an opportunity to recognize the achievements of an entire organisation, the team and their various functions. Its global reach is now expanding, so it's not just obviously Ireland, but we'll see it expand into the USA and the Nordics and Southeast Asia in 2019. And it very much looks at, what does best-in-class business performance look like? The network in Ireland is over 136 companies, where 27 of the 32 counties of Ireland have participated. And in terms of numbers and looking at that, those companies have revenues in excess of 11 billion last year, and large exports north of 3 billion, and employ almost 44,000 people.
So from an application perspective, what eligibility criteria must participating companies satisfy?
Well, I guess the first thing, Karl, is that they have to be an Irish company. So whether you're from north to south, it has to be substantially privately owned and managed and controlled in terms of on the island of Ireland. So that would look at really it has to be incorporated on the island. It has to have a turnover in excess of 10 million euro. And it has to be in existence for at least 5 years. It has to, I suppose, on the other side, be able to demonstrate superior business performance over the past 3 years, in particular in relation to their peer group. And I suppose it's important to probably say any company on the island of Ireland can apply for it once they meet that eligibility criteria. I suppose there are a certain number of organisations that wouldn't qualify or aren't eligible, and primarily they are public companies, multinationals, credit unions, insurance companies, banks and cooperatives, charities and government-owned public sector agencies, and various other partnerships.
Is there a requirement for these companies to be profitable, Ronan?
Yes, I mean, look, I suppose superior business performance is not just from a revenue perspective. It's very much also around profitability. So it's about growing both the top line and the bottom line. And I guess to demonstrate that business performance, you would see a flow through to the bottom line in terms of EBITDA, and to actually see that profitability in these companies.
Now, there's often a misconception that when people see an awards ceremony run by an accountancy firm like Deloitte, that they might think that the awards are specifically for clients of Deloitte, but that's not actually the case, is it? Certainly not. I mean, there's, and as I mentioned, in terms of those companies that have been in the past, in terms of the alumni, a number of those companies are very much Deloitte clients, but a large number of those companies equally are not Deloitte clients. And are you looking for companies from any particular sectors to apply for the upcoming programme? No, I mean, it's a good question. I think, and it's, I suppose the honest answer is it's probably sector agnostic, on the basis that, looking across those companies in the past in terms of the alumni, it's a very wide range in terms of finalists over the years. So you could take anything from engineering to retail to agri-tech to technology. It's all encompassing. We tend to look at, I suppose, the key thing, what we do look at, if there are companies that put themselves forward, we very much look at in terms of where they sit
versus their peer group in whatever market that they see themselves in.
Now, I know firsthand how time-poor business owners are. So in terms
Yep.
of the initial application, what length
Sure.
of time will it take to complete it, and what information are applicants required to submit?
There's two phases to this, really. Phase one is quite short. It's an online application form. So they basically will complete a very short application online, and you can log on to Deloitte bestmanaged.ie, where you can do that, and you can create your own user account, so it's completely secure. And you fill in that form, and that form has to be submitted by Friday, the 27th of this month, September. In terms of time inputs for phase one, you're looking at an hour or two to fill out very, reasonably basic information around the company, performance, what's happened over the last number of years. And I mean, most of that information would be readily available for any high-performing type of organisation that be willing to go forward into our best managed programs. Phase two then, which is different, and that's probably moving on to November, right, is where that goes. And that's the coaching process. And basically anyone shortlisted for phase two, which commences in early October, they're asked to complete a second, a more detailed submission. And then it flows from them. They're evaluated then under key headings in phase two, and that would be around strategy, capability, commitment, and the point you made earlier around their financials.
And following the submission of the application itself, what happens next?
So then, as you know, we have an independent judging panel, which is I suppose they have significant experience, and I might maybe touch on those for a moment, which is, so we have our own CEO, Harry Goddard, in Deloitte, and we have Frank Ryan of the IDA, Tom Hayes in Bank of Ireland, Siobhan McAleer of the Irish Management Institute, Rose Hines, Shannon Group, Fergal Mooney of Hostel World, Colin O'Reilly of the Sunday Business Post. I mean, so it's a really impressive judging panel, independent, and they assess with scrutiny under those kind of key headings in terms of strategy, capability, commitment, and financials. And ultimately, then in terms of where does that go, and then in the period up to December and January, the winners would be selected around that, and then the award ceremony itself would take place later in the year, and this year is March the 6th.
And perhaps you can tell us about some of the companies who have been successful in the Best Managed Companies Awards in previous years.
Sure, I guess, look, I've had to apply a little bit of a Munster Southeast lens to that. Some of the companies, I mean, in Wexford, for example, there was Drover Foods in the past. I know in Carlow as well, there were Cod Mushrooms, Delmec, who are an engineering company, but also Netwatch, who are Carlow-based, CEO and founder Dave Walsh. Kilkenny, there's been one or two in there as well over the years, Taxback Group, but also Callan Bacon is another SME company from that region, southeast.
And Ronan, from your experience, what are the key benefits that those companies have enjoyed by participating in the programme?
I mean, look, I suppose one of the obvious things for them is coaching, which is something unique to this. So I suppose if their applications are successful, they'll have access to coaching sessions from both ourselves and Bank of Ireland as a one team. And that's really a really good opportunity for them to review and evaluate their own business strategy, and I suppose help them in terms of framing up what the future development part of their organisation would be. It also gives the programme provides a good networking and professional development opportunities, and there's always events during the year. And indeed, on the day of the awards, we run an annual symposium, which is really best in class exec coaching and learning for any of the finalists and their teams. And that's run in conjunction with the Irish Management Institute. There's almost nearly 400 people at that. Other benefits, I guess, if you look at it, is that there's beyond that is the branding to it. It's there's really good publicity with it. the winners enjoy, enjoy public recognition and profile through the Sunday Business Post, our media partner on it. But also, I guess there's being associated with such a prestigious program is good for their own internal and external brand. Internal, I mean by, I guess it's a reward for the staff in terms of recognition for what they do and the management teams. But it's also, I would see it as a badge to retain and attract talent.
And finally, Ronan, if any of our listeners are interested in applying for this year's Best Managed Companies Awards, what are the next steps and what are the timelines that they need to be aware of?
The online application form itself, which I mentioned, is quite short, and it can be completed online at DeloitteBestManaged.ie. That's DeloitteBestManaged.ie, where you can create your own user account. And that phase 1 form will be submitted has to be submitted by 5 p.m. on Friday, the 27th of this month, September. And once you submit and make that submission, companies will then be notified thereafter in terms of phase 2 and how that will move on.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Ronan Murray, Corporate Finance Partner with Deloitte. And for those local businesses who are eligible to apply, I would certainly encourage them to complete and submit an application by Friday next.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
South